I am a Filipino woman who came to Kuwait in 10 December 2004. I was 24 years old when I came and I am now 35 years old. I didn't finish my study at university. I just have one course of computer secretary. My family consists of 4 brothers and 2 sisters who continued their studies, and every one of them today has his private life. I have one daughter who I left when she was 6 years old, and she is now 17 years old. On November, she will go to the college, hopefully, as she finished her interview for the exam and passed. I am separated from my husband, not divorced, because the lawyers need a lot amount money. My former husband does not support me and my daughter at all. I am responsible to take care and support her. She is now living with my father and mother, so I was forced to leave my country, my family, my study at university, and come to Kuwait to support my family and my daughter. At first, I didn't choose to come to Kuwait. I wanted to go to Oman because it took a long time for visa to be ready. My agency told me to apply to Kuwait. That was my destiny to come to Kuwait, and I am happy for that. I always contact with my family and my daughter on Skype. Every 2 years, I go to my country to see my family and my daughter. I missed my daughter, and hopefully I could see her on the coming December. The first job for me was a maid in a house, and I didn't know how to speak Arabic or English. Also, I didn't know any rules or anything about Kuwait. The first time I worked as a maid, I was treated very well, but I had to go to another house. The second time I worked, I was treated badly. The housewife was Egyptian and her husband was Kuwaiti. They really were very strict and tough. I was not allowed to eat any time I want, and I had to work hard all the day. My breakfast was just one dirty glass of milk, and the lunch was the leftover of food, and there was no dinner. The housewife was counting everything she brings to the kitchen. I had just what I was wearing. The weather was so cold and she didn't give me any coat or clothes. My hands were full of bleeding scars. I was sleeping on a carpet at the floor. Every Thursday, the family was going outside and I was kicked off the house to stay with the other maids in the maid's room in the mother-in-law's house. I complained many times about my situation to the agency, but he didn't change anything and told me that I should stay there. One day the main door was opened and without any hesitations, I escaped. There were many blocks and I didn't know where the main street is. The clock was 8 p.m. I followed one car whose driver is Indian. He picked me to Hawali and told me that I could stay with his sister until morning because the agency was closed at 8 p.m. The next day I went to the agency and argued with my employers who blamed me because I left the house. I told them, "What should I do? Do you want me to kill myself there?" I stayed about 1 month in the agency. Then I worked again as a maid in another house in El Rumaithia. The family consists of a father and 4 children. The father's family was very good and nice. I was working there with 2 other maids, but they did not help me with work at home, so I asked the father's family to release me to work in other places. After that, I worked in a cafe net, whose manager was Egyptian. I worked there for 1 month and I didn't take my salary. I argued with the manager about how the customers were very rude and impolite with me. After that, I worked in a company that I have been still working in since 2005. At first, I worked in Al Muhallab Mall, and just for 1 week, I am working here in the same brand in the Symphony Mall. Today I am happy because no one treats me impolitely except one time when I was working in a company that had two parts, one for jewelries and the other for accessories in Al Muhallab Mall. A Kuwaiti woman argued with me since she bought something from the accessory section and she wanted to exchange it from the jewelry one. I said to her that there are some strict rules here and that thing is not allowed. The woman got angry and started insulting me and saying rude words. I make 250 KD per month by working 8 to 10 hours per day. I am happy and satisfied, but the problem is money. Since 250 KD is the limit of my salary, I started working by just 115 KD. The last years there were commissions, but now there is just the salary without any commissions. There is no justice when Egyptians, Syrians, Lebanese or another Arabic nationalities they start working by 300 KD even though they do not have an experience like me or they don't know anything about the job. Nowadays I live with a roommate who is working in the Starbucks at AUK. Each one of us pay 15 KD per month for the apartment. I am not going to leave Kuwait these days since I am to some extent satisfied and I had to work to support my daughter and for my mother's care. When my daughter finishes her study, I want to save money to build my own house and make a business in my home and survive there for the rest of my life. In my country, there is no works for persons who are 35 age and above. So it is really important if I want to go back, I should open my own business. I advise everyone to come to Kuwait and work here. Since you know the rules and the limits of the country, no one hopefully will mistreat you.